Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to Skyblock News. I'm your host, Derailious, and today we're going to be going over a major alpha that includes the Minister perks. Before we begin, though, make sure to like and subscribe. Use code RAIL in the Hypixel store for 5% off your order. And without any further ado, let's get started. I want to preface this video by saying that this update is a follow-up to the Aura event and includes many of the perks from the top 3 ministers from the elections in that update. However, many of those perks did not get fully iterated with the ministers. Many of them were changed by the admins, and the ministers themselves were not made fully aware of the process. I myself got a lot of feedback, but a lot of the other ministers, especially some of the later ministers from the later elections, did not get a lot of feedback, and in some cases got basically none. So do not go out there and harass or bother anybody about their perk or their iteration of their perk. In many cases, they had no ability to change it. It was done by the team, and they had no feedback or recourse. Without any further ado, though, let's go over the Minister perks. Let's begin here by going over 30 Virus's perk, the Precursor drone, which got a lot of changes with this update. As you can see, it's now a legendary pet, and it has the perk Creative Mind. This pet can have drone mods applied to it, which allows you to modify its perks to your liking. Currently, there are 3 drone mods in the game: Grungle, Contraband, and Mining Off Camera. If you want to get these, you need to go to the Forest Essence shop and spend 2,500 Forest Essence for Grungle. For Contraband, you have to actually craft it. The crafting recipe is not that bad, all things considered. As you can see, it's a water orb, some rusty coins, an old leather boot, and 8 busted belt buckles. And for the Mining Off Camera drone mod, you need to pick this up from the Diamond Essence shop for 2,500 Essence. But if you do all of that, and you take your Precursor drone, you can then show it and apply these like pet items. Note, you can only have up to 3 things active at once, so you have to swap out one of the other 2 drone mods if you want to use them. So keep in mind, you're not able to use all of the perks here. The perks themselves are pretty interesting. As you can see, Grungle makes it so when foraging, you can now only throw your foraging axe, but the throwing axe penalty is reduced by up to 100%. For Contraband, when fishing, catching a sea creature has an up to 10% chance to also give you treasure, and when mining, each collection progress grants a 0.005 chance to drop a random enchanted mining item. These are basically the perks that already existed on the main server, just now, set up in this drone mod system. Apparently, there may be more drone mods in the future. I quite like the idea of them expanding on this with time. For now, though, it seems like a pretty fun pet. Next up, we're heading over to Bryn Mawr in the Dwarven Mines for ZJ2's perk. When Mayor Cole is elected with his Mining Fiesta perk, the Fiesta will now span the entire mayorship. Because of this, the buffs have been toned down a bit, and you can purchase a few Fiesta flasks at Bryn Mawr's shop in order to get back some of those old buffs. As you can see here, we have 25% mining fortune when Mayor Cole's Mining Fiesta perk is active. It lasts for an hour. You can buy up to 3 of these. I already bought one. As you can see, it's about 2.5 million coins. You can also pick up this, the Pack Rat Shard, giving you up to 50 gemstone fortune while Mayor Cole's Mining Fiesta perk is active. Basically, they're changing the way Mining Fiestas work as a whole, from being more built around showing up at a specific time to when the mayor is elected, you are able to participate. People are going to be upset about this, I think, because of the fact that now you get less overall buffs, and they've nerfed the rates of things like refined minerals and glossy gemstones. Overall, I think this is a fine change. The old system wasn't super sustainable. I do get, though, at the same time, it does feel like a nerf. I wonder if they're going to look into this and they're going to buff back some of the rates a little bit, maybe improve the Fiesta Flask a little bit more. Regardless, though, I would love to hear what you think about this perk down below. For my perk, I chose the Hotspot, Talisman, Ring, and Artifact. For those among you who remember the original election cycle, I was going to add a tracking mix-in. However, the team approached me, they stated, "Hey, we're already adding one with the Harvest Feast, do you want another perk?" I was like, sure, whatever, we're already getting a tracking mix-in, I might as well get something else. So I decided to come up with something pretty small and pretty simple. It's a new accessory line that you can find in the Clay collection. And as you can see here, the base one just gives you some fishing speed while in a fishing hotspot. The first one is super cheap, just some rusty coins as well as some enchanted clay balls. Then you can upgrade it into the Hotspot ring. This one gives you more speed and more sea creature chance in a hotspot. As you can see, you upgrade it with more clay and busted belt buckles. And finally, this one's a little bit expensive. As you can see here, the artifact. This one gives you 10 fishing speed, 1 sea creature chance, and zero point 0.5 treasure chance. And as you can see, it does require a hotspot water orb. Don't yell at me, I'm sorry. I just thought it would be pretty interesting to add one of these and make a new overall perk for hotspots. I think they're relatively underutilized in terms of fishing progression and how much you interact with them. So that way they are a little bit better to fish in. Should be useful at the baseline for new to beginning players to pick up the new talisman and the ring, and then as you approach the later game, eventually you'll get access to the artifact. Fear 5S's perk was also implemented, and aside from the admins making fun of him for dropping his term, which admittedly is absolutely hilarious, they also reduced the amount of lines of Melody's term that you have to do from 4 down to 3, and if I'm able to get to it, as you can see, they lowered the amount of numbers that you have to go through from 14 down to 10. Upon hitting Bestiary milestone 50, you'll be able to pick up the Bestiary talisman from Grandma Wolf. And as you can see, it upgrades pretty far. If I hold it out, you can see it gives 6 total strength, 4% crit damage, 5 intelligence, 3% ability damage, 1 magic find, and 2 tracking. It also upgrades over time as you unlock more Bestiary milestones, I believe capping out at around, I believe, the 30th milestone here, so CCC. Heading over to the forms for a little while, we have the Hunt from Dragoon, and as you can see, it's currently redacted. I imagine this will not be on the alpha, it will not be testable, it'll just be something new that happens in-game once this update releases. I am very much looking forward to this one. The next perk on the list is Kuvdra's, but I'm actually not going to cover it in detail because it seems like the team and Kuvdra both agree that it's going to get reworked. The team state at the bottom, we could perhaps look to move this pet into the Safari Essence shop and try to make it a strong Safari option. Now, Kuvdra has already made a post on the forums, I'll have that link down below, but basically, they agree. They want that to be an option for this pet, so I'm not really going to cover it. TLDR, it was going to be a hunting pet, but now that there is a hunting island out, it makes more sense. Give that island a new pet for you to have, and I think that's really cool. I think it's going to make the experience of being on the Critter Safari even better than it already is. Big fan. My wonderful fiance, Celestial Milk, decided to choose the perk removing a lot of the dungeon yapping in the game. All bosses from floors 1 through 6 now spend significantly less time talking, and cutscenes have also been sped up to remove the prolonged periods that players spend waiting around for the next phase of the fight to begin. The Watcher also now has less dialogue, talks faster, and spawns his summons at a faster rate than before if you have beat the floor at least 5 times. Right now, it seems like the Watcher part of this equation isn't working. I would also love to see some inclusion of floor 7. There are some points, notably after dragons die in M7, before the dragons even spawn, Maxor, there's some parts that are pretty long in terms of dialogue. I think they could cut out a little bit more, but from what I saw on floor 6 and floor 5 and floor 3, I believe, there are a lot of great changes there, so I'm pretty happy about this. Next up, we have the Capybara Sanctuary from Candy Pat. This is currently not on the alpha, but it will be soon. Their current concept is for the Moonglade Marsh to house a Capybara Sanctuary, where you feed capybaras in order to power them up, and eventually receive a blessing from them, which would grant you some strong foraging buffs for a while. Timber, fortune, wisdom, etc. This sounds very interesting, it's kind of unique, and I imagine that it will be on the alpha within the next week or 2. The Refractive Paint Palette is Refraction's perk, and as you can see, it's a new item that, like the Necron's Handle and Diana's Bookshelf, can be purchased from the Regalia room for 75 million coins. It tracks unique dies that you've obtained with the item in your inventory, and upon completion, gives you some nice stats to boot. The palette even starts off blank, and gains a new color every time you obtain a new die. Originally, this item was supposed to be for crazy rare drops from Slayers. I'm going to be honest, my personal view on this, I think it should still be that. I don't really love the idea of dies being turned into something that give you actual stats. I'm also not the biggest fan of the fact that this isn't retroactive for people who have already grinded a lot of dies. I think the idea is really neat, and I think the idea when it comes to crazy rare drops was super nice. Refraction was cooking with that. But I don't know what the team has done when it comes to this. I'm a little bit concerned about it. The Powder of the People accessory line has also been added, and as you can see, you can find it in the Forge. The Powder of One gives you 2.5% Mithril powder gain. The Powder of the Few gives you Mithril and Gemstone powder increased gain by 5%. And the Powder of the Many gives you Mithril, Gemstone, and Glaciite powder gain by 7.5%. And you can upgrade it one more time into the Powder of the People right here. This increases Mithril powder, Gemstone powder, and Glaciite powder gain by up to 10%. The overall crafting for all of these isn't too bad. It does take quite a few glossy gemstones as well as refined minerals, gemstone mixtures and glaciite amalgamations, and some refined titanium and mithril for the base form, but regardless, this is a nice perk from Alawi. Toadstar's perk for the moment seems to be the Skatha in a bottle, and as you can see, it is crafted by getting a nothing in a bottle upon reaching Living Metal Heart 3 in the Rift, and then when you take it out into the overworld, you put a Skatha inside of it, and it becomes a mix-in that you can use to get 0.1 pristine, which is not very good, I'm going to be honest. Toadstar knows about this perk being like this at the moment. Apparently they had basically no input on it. They are not happy, and rightfully so. This perk is very, very weak, and frankly should be quite a bit stronger, or at the very least changed around to either not be a mix-in and maybe be something else. I think they're looking at maybe turning it into a pet item. Something like that would be a whole lot better. The team also states that they want to do some things in the future to make Dojo, Tiny Dancer, and Vampire Slayer better in terms of ping intensity. They're also looking into similar for mining, which would be amazing if they're able to get it done. Enther's perk is not currently on the Alpha Network, but it will be a set of returning player buffs. If you have not logged on Skyblock for more than a month, an NPC will show up on your island when you next log in, and you'll be able to get some limited time buffs, including coins, skill XP gain, and help them get back into the game a little bit faster. The next two perks were from Ari the Monkey and Luaman, and both of those have been added to the game already, so I don't really have anything to add. F22 Raptor's perk is a new shard that increases your speed cap by up to 50 in the Catacombs, and as you can see, you need to fuse the Soul of the Alpha with an Epic Shard or higher. They've also increased the pickup range of Wither Keys and Blood Keys in the Catacombs by 5 blocks, and they've increased the activation range of Fells by 5 blocks as well. Lejimbo proposed a few Dark Auction changes, and as you can see, they have made it so it is easier to obtain the Seal of the Family accessory line. You only need 1 purchase for the Shady Ring, 3 for the artifact, and 7 for the Seal of the Family. They've also cycled in and out some items to the Dark Auction pool. Prosecute and Execute are in, Sharpness and Prot are out. Remba Quaglet, my absolute goat, got the Infinipot added to the game, and this thing is awesome. Basically allows you to automatically consume a dungeon potion from your inventory, but if you don't have that selected potion in your inventory, it will be purchased and consumed automatically using coins from your purse or bank. This is an accessory you can pick up for 5,000 Wither Essence, and as you can see, you can swap around pretty much everything about it. You can turn it on or off. You can select whichever potion you would want. I love this item. It's one of the best additions. I think it's completely and totally amazing. Good job on this addition. Keep Wars perk got turned into Frog Spirit. This can be picked up from Rosemary for 5,000 Forest Essence, and you can apply it to foraging related boots in order to get the ability to double jump. As you can see, I can apply this right here. There we go. I now have the scroll ability, and if I double tap jump, as you can see, I'm basically able to jump around, effectively fly around, and this should make the process of foraging quite a bit better. Basically combining the old effect from Spider's Boots, which some people used on places like the Moonglade Marsh in order to forage more effectively. This basically power creeps the old scaffolding system that basically nobody used, but I don't think too many people are complaining about that. Mash Clash's perk got turned into More Pity, and as we can see right here, there are a couple new things. Special Zealots as well as Vanquishers. I'm kind of shocked there's no inclusion of the Phoenix pet. That was originally going to be part of this perk, but it didn't happen due to the team. I don't know why they don't want the Phoenix to be pitiable. It makes a lot of sense. It's a major pain to get at the moment. The team even admits that it is a bit of a weird pet at the moment, but they don't really have any plans for it right now. Just give it a pity, man. They've also made it so pity can be accessed without a booster cookie. If you head up to the top of the hub, you can find Alan's perk, and this one is really awesome. It's weather added to Hypixel Skyblock in a more complete capacity. If you speak to Professor Wind, he will show off the weather system. Basically, how it works is that there are two types of weather. Mild weather occurs after 40 minutes of clear skies, and extreme weather replaces every third instance of mild weather. All weather conditions last for 20 minutes, and these are basically bonus stats and perks to everyone on the island. Starting with the three mining islands, they actually have fairly similar weather. They all have the same mild weather in the form of breeze, giving you 100 mining speed, 25 mining fortune, and 25 fishing speed. They also all have similar perks for their extreme weather, albeit with different names. Mist is for the Dwarven Mines, giving you 250 mining speed, 50 mining fortune, 50 fishing speed, and 10% more mithril powder. For the Crystal Hollows, we have Rockfall. The only difference is that now you gain 10% more gemstone powder. And finally, for the Glaciite Tunnels, we have Snowstorm, the only difference being you get 10% more Glaciite powder. For the Spider's Den, as you can see, Rain is the mild weather, giving you 25 fishing speed, 2.5 sea creature chance, 5 combat wisdom, and rain slimes spawn around the island. The extreme weather is Thunderstorm, giving you 50 fishing speed, 5 sea creature chance, and 10 combat wisdom, with toxic rain slimes spawning around the island. The End's weather events are Wisfall as well as Void Storm. From Wisfall, you get 25 mining fortune, 1 tracking, and 5 combat wisdom. And from Void Storm, you get 50 mining fortune, 2.5 tracking, 10 combat wisdom, and a 1% more likelihood for superior dragons to spawn. For the Crimson Isle, we have Ashfall as well as Hellstorm. Ashfall gives you 25 fishing speed, 2.5 trophy chance, and 5 combat wisdom. And Hellstorm gives you 50 fishing speed, 5 trophy chance, 10 combat wisdom, and trophy fish are 5% more likely to be gold or diamond. The Moonglade Marsh gets Moonfall and Thunderstorm. Moonfall gives you 10 foraging fortune, 25 fishing speed, and 2.5 sea creature chance, and Thunderstorm gets you 25 foraging fortune, 50 fishing speed, 5 sea creature chance, and 10% more forest whispers. The Backwater Bayou and the Lotus Atoll have similar overall weather. Smog gives you 25 fishing speed, 2.5 sea creature chance, and 1 treasure chance, and Acid Rain gets you 50% fishing speed, 5 sea creature chance, 2.5 treasure chance, and a 20% chance to catch 2 pieces of junk at once. The Lotus Atoll gives you 25 fishing speed, 2.5 sea creature chance, and 2.5 trophy chance for Tropical Rain, and Blossoming gives you 50 fishing speed, 5 sea creature chance, 5 trophy chance, and trophy frogs are 5% more likely to be gold or diamond. This is the Blossoming weather event. For the garden, we have Rain and Blooming. Rain gives you 5 bonus pest chance, 2.5 overbloom, and 25 farming fortune. And Blooming gets you 10 bonus pest chance, 5 overbloom, 50 farming fortune, and 10% more sawdust. Last but not least, we have Jerry's Workshop. Breeze gives you 25 fishing speed, 5 sea creature chance, and 2.5 treasure chance, and Blizzard gets you 50 fishing speed, 10 sea creature chance, 5 treasure chance, and 10% more ice essence. To get Professor Wind's Abaphone contact, you need to give him a weather stick, and as you can see, in order to make it, you need 2 enchanted redstone dust and a stick, and he'll give you access to the weather alert system. This is super nice, allows you to get calls when specific types of weather are happening. So for example, if you're going for a certain type of trophy fish or trophy frog, and you want to do it while it's Hellstorm out, well, you can set it up to where he'll call you when that weather event begins. I'm a big fan of this. The best part, you can interact with the cat here. Aura Stay will get parts of Aura Staying, and as you can see, the parts that they bring up here are the fact that bestiaries were reduced across the board, and the Magic Find rework is on the alpha horizon soon, and will also help new players progress faster. Last but certainly not least, in terms of perks, we have Flame of War, who wanted even more dungeon-related changes. They have reduced the amount of time it takes to pick up a secret from 11 to 5 ticks, and they have removed one set of lights from the Simon Says terminal in F7 and M7. Lastly, there are some other changes to go over with this update. They have improved the item lore of refined minerals, glossy gemstones, and the magical milk bucket. They've also adjusted the Spinosaurus pet's primordial fisher perk and renamed it to Adaptive Fisher. It now increases the pet's base stats during weather instead of just during rain. This is a lot better than the old version of the perk. They've also adjusted the Quartz Fang Shard, and as you can see, it's a little bit weaker now. It now grants up to 100 mining speed on mining islands while weather is active, instead of buffing mining speed from events by up to 100%. This is definitely a nerf. I kind of understand it because the percentage-based buff is tough to work around. I kind of wish, though, we still had something that buffed mining speed during events, though. They've also adjusted the category of Implosion, Shadow Warp, and Wither Shield from Dungeon Item to Ability Scroll. They've adjusted the location of recipes in the Clay Collection to make room for the Hotspot accessory line. They've adjusted the Blizzard in a Bottle to now increase the effects of weather on players by up to 10%, which is very nice. They've also made the fishing speed stat a lot more linear. Basically, they want to make it more noticeable for early game players. Really solid change. And finally, they have adjusted creative minds. They are now soulbound, any new ones anyway. The item lore can now be customized by staff to input a reason for awarding, and going forward, item lore for new creative minds will state that they were awarded by the Hypixel team. The goal here is for the team to not effectively be dumping billions of coins on a player when awarding them a creative mind. Like the original wiki items, they're intended to be a commemoration of an achievement, not a marketable asset. Since this update is split into two major parts, the Minister perks and the rest of the update, which is in a release candidate format, I will be splitting this video in half as well. There will be another video posted later tonight or tomorrow morning going over the rest of the changes. I would love to hear your thoughts about the Minister perks. Personally, I'm a bit mixed on a few of them, but some of them seem really solid, and I'm happy with the implementation of at least my own perk, as well as Jade's perk. I think some of the others are great, though. Infinipot's awesome, weather's really cool. Would love to see a weather toggle, though, at least the visual part of it. It can be a little bit crunchy in terms of bitrate, and I imagine some streamers may want that. Regardless, though, happy to see the eventual inclusion of a lot of these perks. I do hope the team listens to many of the people who were not listened to. There were some people who were very upset that they got no feedback in terms of their perks design. I hope the team takes the time to improve upon their perks. Again, would love to hear what you think about this update, though. Leave all of your thoughts down below and look to the future, fellas. I'll see you then.